welcome to today's vlog. I am freezing cold, it is wet out here, and today we are going to be testing these Continental DWS 06 tires. How good are they, guys? Well, we're going to find out. All right, stay tuned. Alright guys, so I actually had to jump back in the car here because it's so cold and wet out. I want to be able to kind of explain what we're actually here to do today. So today we're out in Pitt Meadows, which is an airport actually out here, where they allow us to do some autocross events. And the University of British Columbia actually runs like this slush cup where it's all winter long and you're out competing with other people out in these miserable conditions. So we're actually out here today to really test these Continental tires and see how good they are. So I've already done one heat through. I'm going to throw in some footage next of us actually going through and testing them, but so far these tires have been outstanding. I've had zero chatter. They're just really confidence inspiring tires. So we're going to run you through it, and when I'm done at the end here, we'll kind of do an overall review of what they've been like performing out in these conditions. So let's roll in some footage right now. We're bringing it down. We're bringing it down. Well, it is getting a little bit drier too, but it's still wet. I mean, it's not raining, but it's still wet, so I can't really hold that against me too much. I mean, it's still greasy. The car does want to slide out, and I'm just dipping into the throttle just a little bit more every time. And so far, I mean, these tires are amazing. I am not getting any sense of understeer on the front end, which to me is so critical of a tire to show me that they're actually working, especially on a rear-wheel drive car. It's just the rear. I mean, you can't fault the tire. It's a rear-wheel drive, you know, 400 and something horsepower to the tire's car. Not very many tires are going to take that abuse in wet conditions and still grip. So these things are just performing amazing. Very little sidewall rollover. Normally when you're getting into a corner, you feel that side roll kind of pitch. I'm getting none of that in this tire whatsoever. It's just nice and rigid, crisp turn-in response. I'm just thrilled with these things. For an all-season tire to come out here and lay down these kind of times against guys that are set up with track weapon cars with less horsepower, but on an autocross event, you actually want less horsepower. You don't want all this power on an event like this. You know, some of these guys can post faster times than me. That's great. If we went to a full-blown road course like the Ridge or Area 27, I'm going to be quicker than them. There's just no way for them to get around that. This car has more power. I can get higher speeds on the straightaways and the kind of curving corners where you can carry a lot more speed. Man, I'm just thrilled, guys. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. This thing is just performing so well. The car is doing awesome. Nick reloaded the tune yesterday, and you know, it's not like I needed the extra power, so I don't know how much that's helping, but the car's running great, so I'm just thrilled with this. This has been awesome. All right, let's see if I can best that 48 or if it's just going to be another. Sun in the eyes there.
.47.
47? Nice. Got it.
There's actually so much grip with these tires.
It's impressive, isn't it? He said that was the last run, right?
Yeah. You can go back to parking.
Yeah.
There's just one tail happy part in the beginning, and then throughout the rest it's just all grip.
Well, that's because it's like that. You're in the, it's the power band really, because when I'm down low like that, I have all the torque, right? So I'm really just kind of fighting all of that power to try and keep it, you know, in line, right?
Yeah.
And you're also coming off corner, so it has a tendency that when your front's kind of trying to go this way, the back's going to want to push off, right? So you got to kind of work with it. I was playing with it just to see what I could get it to do too, right? So that's a part of it, but yeah, I'm super thrilled with the tires. They're performing really well, so.
Yeah. There's a lot of power in this car.
It is, and you see what I mean, right? Like other guys would probably sound more dramatic if you're riding with them because of, you know, they less power, so they're up in their power band, right? I'm barely puddling through this thing, right?
Power seems very linear too.
It is, yeah, because just being naturally aspirated, high revving V8, which is what they did with this thing. So, I mean, mine right now with the tune, I go to 7,500 RPM out of a V8. That's pretty high, right? The new GT350 goes to 82, and that's a cross-plane crank. It's a totally different motor, right? I mean, similar, but yeah. So,
is the GT350 more powerful?
all right, so I am just leaving the event. I had to get into the car so quick just to kind of warm up. It is cold out there right now. And one of the things you have to do actually at these events is volunteer work. So after I did my last run in my last group in my heat, I actually had to be out there at one of the turns and kind of manning the stations and, you know, calling out any cones that get hit and stuff like that. So overall, for my first time with this particular organization and this group, I'd have to say this is probably one of the best run ones that I have in my area. The guys are really relaxed, really casual, but they're very knowledgeable and they're very friendly and helpful, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, a lot of these organizations sometimes get so caught up in stuff that they're just not approachable, and they're not there to genuinely help you if you're new to the sport and you're kind of learning, you know, how do you guys like to run these events. So overall, I'm very happy with this group. It's the UBC group for the autocross. So if you're ever in this area and you're looking at doing an autocross event, I would highly recommend them. They were overall just pretty good to deal with. So that being said, how did we do? Well, every single run I did, I progressively continued to improve. That has more to do with me than the car. I'm learning the track. I was trying to like commit it to memory so I knew where things were. And I was, you know, slowly rolling into the throttle a little bit more, just to see what the car was capable of doing and just knowing where the limits were. The car is performing excellently. I could definitely see, you know, where I need a bit more tire underneath it, but then again, it's also wet and rainy. I can't really use that as too much of a judgment. But that being said, these tires are excellent. So as far as a part 2 to the Continental tire review, I must say, if you're looking for a tire that you can run in these type of autocross events, this is definitely a good tire to run. It gripped really well, turn-in was great, no tire chatter whatsoever. You know, when you kind of get that rolling of the sidewall where you can tell you're just pushing the limits of the tire, I didn't even get close to it. So I would have to say this is probably one of the better performing tires for the category. So if you're in the market for a set of Continental all season DWS, I think this is definitely a must-have tire. So I'm thrilled with it. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I had a blast. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye.